Guys, welcome to MyGuy Review of Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. The most hyped movie of 2016 is here, directed by Zack Snyder, the director of only one good film, and starring obviously the new Batman, Ben Affleck. Henry's back, Amy's back, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, Diane Lane is still there, Laurence Fishburne, Jeremy Irons, Gal Gadot as Diane Prince, Wonder Woman. So this film is basically a spoiler-free review, and kind of go over the film and everything. Now, at the starting bit's really good because we get a nice quick flashback of Batman. Everyone knows the story. There's no spoilers there, and how and what tragedy happened early on in his life. But then we kind of flash forward to what happened in Man of Steel, and the destruction in Metropolis, and that's where we get a first look at Bruce Wayne, older Bruce Wayne, played by the amazing Ben Affleck, driving around through Metropolis, seeing buildings and people and destruction everywhere, and you see Wayne Enterprise there being absolutely desecrated as well, while Superman is obviously fighting General Zod from Man of Steel. So again, all of that's in the trailer, so no kind of spoilers there. Then we kind of see our first glances of Lex Luthor, who played by Jesse Eisenberg, who I thought was amazing in the film. Later on, obviously, we get to see a first glimpse and a very short glimpse again of Wonder Woman, because this is Batman versus Superman. The film is more about Ben Affleck and Henry, or Clark Kent, and Bruce Wayne, and so Wonder Woman's there, but her role is very small. It's called Dawn of, so obviously we will see Justice League members. There are nice little kind of cutbacks to them. As this is spoiler free, I won't kind of tell you what happens and how they come about, but there are nice kind of throwbacks to the Justice League in there, and you'll kind of get to see the Trinity, and then obviously the new Justice League kind of forming using I think it's Seven Samurai as kind of like the blueprint for what will become Justice League Part 1. So obviously there's kryptonite around. Batman gets his hands on some form of kryptonite. It's the only way obviously Batman could fight Superman. There is the big battle between the two now. Everyone's seen any of the trailers, any of the kind of clips, you've pretty much seen the entire fight. There's nothing new you're going to see in the film in terms of the two kind of like hashing it out. Obviously, Batman is Mr. Gadget, so he goes off and he starts building gadgets to fight against Superman. Superman literally just rocks up there in his cape and his underwear's outside, and the big fight happens. And we have this fight between, as Lex says in the film, God v Man, Day v Night, and it's a CGI filled battle sequence, should we say. We have this huge battle between both Batman and Superman in Gotham, because he obviously comes across to Gotham, spoiler. And then thereafter, obviously, we get to see our first main look at the new Kryptonian creature, which again is in the trailer, so no, not spoiling anything for anyone. Obviously, Doomsday is, and how he comes about, because I'll leave that all out in this kind of film. But Lex Luthor is involved, should we say, and obviously the Trinity then come together, bind together, just like in the trailer, and fight Doomsday. Get a good glimpse at Wonder Woman's kind of special abilities and her fighting skills, her lasso, all of those kind of cool things. And that's, her role is very short, so you see a lot of it there. She doesn't really have any interaction in the film with Clark Kent or Superman, because her role is very, very short. Let's talk about the positives really quickly. Choice of Ben Affleck, always down for Team Affleck. Great, but he makes a great Wayne, and he's a bit older, he's more distinguished, he's got the world's problems on his shoulder, he's a beaten man, you can tell there's so much that's happened, and he nails it, absolutely nails it. He's Batman, he's amazing. Obviously we've got Henry again playing Clark Kent. He's good in the film as well. We've got Amy Adams as Lois Lane, again she's good. Jesse Eisenberg, a lot of stick for being Lex. I thought he was amazing as a young Lex. He's everything you want him to be. He's kind of kooky and he's sadistic at the same time, and I thought he was brilliant. He nailed it. Laurence Fishburne was good as well, got a couple of good one-liners, and again Jeremy Irons was amazing as well as the new Alfred. Really, really good. So yeah, in terms of acting and what was in the film, that was really good. But as a spectacle, 2.5 hours in, you have this big battle between the two that we want to see, Batman versus Superman. But they're not really Batman Supermaning that much. It is literally towards the end of the film, so I felt a bit disappointed in that. But it is a slow burner, and it is a film which doesn't get you quick enough to that area. But then there is the battle, Doomsday's involved, a lot happens, and it all happens together, kind of like the latter stage of the film. Obviously there's a winner, the losers, all sorts of stuff. I'm not going to kind of give any of that stuff away. And overall, Zack Snyder has a style of directing and style of movies, like when he made Watchmen 300, and that style comes across into this film. So obviously if you loved and enjoyed The Watchmen, you get a lot of feel and look of this, and you'd be like, yeah, that's good, but it's very heavily used as CGI, and I was a bit disappointed with the kind of like the film. I was hoping for more Batman versus Supermaning, but that didn't happen. It's not the worst film, because it's not as bad as Green Lantern. There's a lot of hate right now for it. It's not that bad, and it's no Dark Knight either. So don't go in thinking this is DC's greatest accomplishment of late. It's more, yeah, it's not as good, but it's not that awful. It's a slow burner. It's building and laying the foundation for other things. There are lots of nice little Easter eggs in there as well. It's literally almost a 2.5, when the DVD comes out, 3-hour prologue to what will be the Justice League, or what will be the other films that will spawn off of this. This is kind of just setting the groundwork for everything else and kind of filling in holes and stuff. It wasn't the best film I'd seen, but in terms of Zack Snyder, maybe it's, considering he's only had one good film, this is better than Man of Steel, better than Sucker Punch 300, but not as good as some previous DC films that have come out. You do get lots of kind of like action, you get lots of CGI at the end, big things blowing up, all sorts of stuff happening, and that's kind of where it kind of ends, and then the new Justice League will all form after that. So in terms of like the movie, the feel, it is a lot darker, but this time around at least Superman's red and blue's a lot brighter. It's not as dark as it was in Man of Steel. It's much better. Batman obviously has a few costumes. His gear has got lots of scratches on it. It looks older, it looks good. Even Wayne is driving different types of cars to what the Lambos and the young kind of drive, because he's an older gentleman now. It's really cool. His Batcave looks amazing as well. There's also throwbacks to like Kent Farm when he goes back there. There are dream sequences in the film as well. Spoiler, sorry. And that kind of like will lay the foundation for other things, which I won't talk too much about in this one, but when I do like an Easter egg breakdown or something, I'll kind of go over it then. And so yeah, I was slightly underwhelmed as the end of the film came out, and I was almost a bit disappointed because I expected more of Batman and Superman in costume, fighting, doing something, and then banding together to do something good, but none of that really happened. So for me, this isn't as bad as Green Lantern. It's not as bad as everyone says, but it's no Dark Knight either, which is DC's kind of like blueprint of what potentially they could do with these amazing characters. So I give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. Obviously there's loads of room for improvement, but still not the worst film. But the hype and everything, I got caught up in it, got excited about it, and yeah, and kind of let me down. So tell me what you thought. Hit me up with your comments below, hit the like button, subscribe for more.